Welcome all. Boone here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily time frame. There's two scenarios here, like I've been mentioning. We either just get this C down or we get a correction in here for a wave, and then we get a W, X, Y, X2 and a Z up before we get that A, B, C. Well, now it's becoming a lot clearer. You know, we got a reasonably impulsive wave down in here now. So I'd be looking for this wave C down before we start to look for buys for long term. The H4, you can see that this is starting to turn motive. We got like 1, 2, we're getting a wave 3 here now. We get a wave 4 and then a wave 5 down. So in this wave 3 here, I'd expect a little bit more downside before we start to get this wave 4. But really, it can we can get this wave 4 at any time now. We're down to that 123.6. So on the lower time frames, there's really not much you can do until you get this wave 4, and then you could trade that wave 5 down. You could try and scalp, the buy into a wave 4. It's risky, could be quite choppy, but you might get a few pips out of it. Really not much on it at all at this stage. AU on the daily. Looking for that A, B, and a C up on the daily time frame. I've been wondering if this is the actual low. I wasn't convinced. Now it's looking a little bit better. We did get a nice impulse up from a low. We got a a bullish hidden divergence in here. So if we get a little correction in here, we can look for a buy. If I just go down to the H1 time frame, starting to get a little correction in here. So if you get a setup on the lower time frames, a buy setup, you definitely could look for a buy. GU, been looking for that C up, this A, B, and a C, possibly up to that 100 fib. It was very slow to go, and all of a sudden it's taken off. So we were sort of in this channel here, and then it's just broken out of that channel. So if you get a little correction in here, you definitely could look for a buy. EU, we're looking for that C up as well. But again, like on the lower time frames, I haven't been convinced that this was the low because it was looking so choppy, but they have started to take off now. We're looking at a 1, 2, 3. So you really have to wait for a wave 4 in here on the H4, and then you trade that wave 5 up now if you're not already on it. Let's take that off. So yeah, nothing really on the H1 either. I'd be waiting for a correction a similar size to this, wherever this ends over here. So we get a nice large correction over there before I trade that wave 5 up. At this stage, there really isn't much on it. The best thing to do is to wait for this wave 4. and be patient, wait for it, and then trade that wave 5 up. And you, same as the others, pretty much, we're looking for this C up. We're looking for this A, B, and a C up in here. Looks very corrective, like many of the other pairs did before they took off. So maybe this will take off now. We do sort of have a correction. It's not the best looking correction, but we got 3 up in here. Sharp move down, sharp move up. So if we get a correction in here and a buy set up on the lower time frame, so we can look to buy this for the longer term, for that daily C up. I don't have the fib on here. I'll quickly put that fib on here. So we're looking, up to the 65-cent mark as your first target. GY, very choppy in here. I've been saying, you're pretty much leaving this alone. It can go either way. This is quite difficult to trade at this stage. I mean, we got a nice impulse down. We had like 3 up in here, and I was expecting to get that C down from there, but instead we're getting this very choppy wave in here. It's looking like a B wave. So we can get it like an A, B, C in here, and this turns all complex, like I pretty much mentioned last week. And then we get some sort of an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C before we get an A, B, C. Really large, complex correction before we get that A, B, and the C that we want to sell. So, it's pretty much untradeable at this stage unless you're just scalping, a few pips here and there on it. There is really no clear direction at this stage. If I can get my internet to work. Even on the H4, I mean, it's not the best. We do have bullish divergence in there. We're breaking out of here. It's very choppy though. Yeah. I mean, you could look for a buy. If you got a buy set up, you could look for like 1, 2, 3, get it to break even and see if it keeps on going for you. But yeah, it's very difficult at the moment. GY. UY on the daily. This was very slow too to start off with. I'm looking, we got 3 up in here after a nice impulse down. So I will be looking for that wave C down at like an A, a B, a C in here, like I've been mentioning for ages. But it has been quite difficult because this was very choppy. This was very choppy, very slow, more corrective than impulsive. All up till here was more bullish, and it did try and go here, and then it started to fall over quickly. So we are starting to get bullish divergence, but very risky to buy until we break this low, pretty much. Until we break this low here. I would like to see this come down, break that low, so we get 3 down. Then a buy set up, and then we can look for more buys. But yeah, at this stage, you could try and look for a scalp to the upside. We do have bullish divergence in here on the H1. So, so you could look for a buy in here. In fact, if I go down to the lower time frame, there may even be a buy set up on it. It's not. we did come from a low, but we got one up in here, one down there. It's quite choppy. You could look to give it a go, but you have to be very careful. USD CAD. This could be quite choppy for some time, like I've mentioned. I'm looking for that wave 4 in here and then a wave 5 up. There's really not much on this. We're in that large correction. So it's the best way to trade this now is to wait for this time factor here. And whatever happens in here, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. It may even go up and break that top, then come back down, give us some sort of a running flat, and then buy for that wave 5. We don't know what sort of correction we're going to get in here, but the best thing to do is to wait, be patient, and wait for this time factor, and then start to look at the correction, what correction's in there, and if it looks complete, well, then you can start to look for buys for that wave 5. That's the safest way to trade this now. Um, we can look for a sell. If we had like 3 up in here and then a bearish setup, well, then you could look for a sell to go and break this low for like an A, a B, and a C. But again, it may turn more complex, and it can even break that top like I just showed, and giving a running or expanding flat. So yeah, it's quite risky at this stage. The Swissy, we're waiting for this B wave. Like I've been mentioning for a long time, ever since we hit this top, I've been waiting for the B wave in here. It's got down to the 50 fib now, so I'll be looking for buys. Not quite yet, but yeah, we don't have any bullish divergence in here yet. So hopefully we get another one up in here, giving us like a bear hidden in here, and we can sell that down to go and break the low. And ideally then once this low is broken, we start to get that bullish divergence, and then I'd start to look for a buy setup to go and break the top in that wave C. So, I don't think it's ready to go yet. There's, more than likely we'll get, like I just mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bear hidden in here, another one down, and then I'll start to look for buys. EG, we're right at a low, we're right at this low here. Now, this is, excuse me, quite difficult. Well, it wasn't too bad, but, like I mentioned last week, this low here was broken. Before that, there was a chance of a bull hidden here until this low got broken. Well, that low got broken, over here last week. It might have been the week before. But, now we've got that bullish divergence in here, nice impulse up. So any bullish setup we get, really, if you trade this pair, you'd be keeping an eye on a nice correction in there and a buy setup, and yeah, you could clean up on this pretty much. Could be quite a bit of upside to it. It's come from a quite a big top, so there's quite a bit of room in there. WTI on the daily. We have broken all these lows in, like this low and this low. We've broken the low in here, so I'm looking at some sort of an A. All this is a B, and we get a C up in here still. It's just not giving us any buy setups. Well, yeah, no, we don't even have any bullish divergence here yet. I've been looking for this flat, like some sort of an A, a B, and a C, to give us another one down, and then start looking for buys. It's not giving us very good buy setups for that at this stage. It's very choppy. Even on the H1, there's no bullish divergence. So, if you're buying, you're just scalping more than likely. H1, M15, you get a bull hidden, and you're getting a bull hidden in here. So you could look for the buy, just for a scalp, like 1, 2, 3, wave 4, and you trade a wave 5 up. And then more than likely it will come down and break that low. So you get it to break even, take half off, and if you're lucky, it really takes off. But yeah, it doesn't look real motive. There was a couple of opportunities to get in this, like this in here. But if you're not already on it, I'd be waiting for 3 down in here, like 1, 2, 3 down in here, then look for a bullish setup on the lower time frames. And look for that wave 5 up. Looking at gold, right up the top of the market, right up the top of the wave 3 here. Not sure what happened to my arrow, but looking for this time factor in the wave 4, then I'll be looking for the wave 5 up. This may not be ready. We still may be in this wave 3. Like, we still may be in this wave 3. So we have a bull hidden here. It's looking bullish in here as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get, well, at least 3 up in here, like 1, 2, 3 up in here, breaking the top. And then we may get some sort of a flat, larger flat to give us that wave 4 on the daily. So at this stage, it's a scalp. Like it's only a scalp, and you'd want a really nice setup in here to buy. It's quite risky, but we do have that bull hidden. It's not confirmed. The problem is that bull hidden it isn't confirmed. So to buy this, it is very risky. You've got to be on the ball. But this does look corrective for more upside. I mean, it's extremely risky, because that's the top. It tried to break the top there, come straight back down. Tried to break the top again, and it comes straight back down. So that's why I say you've really got to get onto the lower time frames and look for a nice bullish setup before I'd even attempt it, because you got to get it to break even. As soon as these tops are broken, you got to get it to break even, because it can come down and it'll be a break even trade, or it goes. If you get on the one that goes, well, it'll go for you. But other than that, be very careful with it at this stage. Silver, very difficult as well. We already got the 5 up in here, hit the first target, then we had those 3 down in here, and this was very choppy, breaking this top. So yeah, I haven't really liked this. If you've been following me for a while, you'll remember me. I was looking for a WXY. This was very choppy, so I was looking for an X2 and then a Z down, and then I'd look for a buy. This has gone up and broken this top, so it's more of a buy, but possibly not yet. If I go down to the H1, I was looking for a buy in here, but looking at like a 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a bear hidden in here. So this it's looking bullish in here, but be very careful. We can come down and break that low. I was sort of looking for this one up in here with this arrow as a possible flat, and that's still possible, running flat. But yeah, just be careful. We do have a possible bear hidden there. So if you're looking for the buy, keep that in mind. Bitcoin, we already had the 5 up. We had that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't quite get to the target. So we're waiting for a larger correction in here. I was looking at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We lost that bullish divergence. So I was just looking for a larger correction in here before we get more downside. So we are starting to get some sort of a structure here now, corrective structure. So what I'd be looking at is a more of a complex correction, because we're looking for a correction larger than these. This one here, like this one here. So we have like an impulse, and an impulse. Now this is looking like the choppiest wave. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 up in here, like a 1, 2, 3 up in here, and then an A, B, C, before we get an A, B, C, larger correction, larger than this over here, and then we get more downside. So this can turn quite complex. But yeah, that's the corrective structure that I'd be looking at this stage. So, you could scalp this one up in here for an A, B, C, and then you could scalp that for a C down for this A, B, C, and then you'd be looking for a buy. This is the one you wouldn't want to miss for this A, B, C. S&P 500. I've been mentioning for a very long, excuse me, a very long time. We had all that bearish divergence on the daily. Pretty much stay out of it. And now we have a nice impulse down. There's still a couple of scenarios here, but we got all that bearish divergence. I'm more bearish on this, but it is possible that this is like 1, 2, 3 breaking the top, and then you get like an A, B, C as a flat, and then you go up and break the top. That is a possibility, but I'm more interested in a sell if we get it. For the longer term, for a if I just go back to the H1, for like an A, we get a B wave in here and a C down. If we get a nice choppy wave in here, I'll be looking for that C down. Ideally, that's what I'd be looking for. In the shorter term, I'd be looking for a little bit of upside here. Get a retracement up to the 50 fib. You could look to buy this. We got bullish divergence on the M15. Sorry, on the H1. M15 is where I'd be looking to buy. If you got a nice correction in here and a bullish setup on the lower time frames, I'd be looking for 3 up. You got a hard stop right at the low. So yeah, you're buying into a correction. So, well, you're possibly buying into that daily B wave. So you just if you're buying, you just scalping, really. AU200. Looking at that as a B wave, this comes down very sharp. This still can be like an A, a B, and a C here, a flat, and we go up and break the top. Just because we got a sharp move down here doesn't mean it's going to be a massive crash. This can be an A, B, C, and if we get a bullish setup, we can look to go and break that top. Or just like S&P 500, if it turns corrective in here, well, then we can look for a sell. So we're just waiting to see what we get. At this stage, I'd be looking for a buy on the lower time frames because we got this nice impulse down. You're buying into a correction. Really, there isn't a buy set up yet. There's no buy on this one at like there is on S&P 500. S&P 500, it's starting to look like a nice setup for a buy. There's nothing on AU200 to buy at this stage. The FTSE, getting bearish divergence at the two tops. So that's nice. Right at the top of the market on this. Again, this still can go and break the top. But this was quite choppy breaking the top. So it still can be an A, B, C here, a flat. And we go up and break the top one more time. Ideally, it gives us bearish divergence in there. Nice impulse down, correction. And then we can look for the longer term sell. At this stage, this still can be this flat here to go up and break the top. So, I mean, really be on the M15 that you'd be looking at. And you definitely can look for the buy. We got this is the low here, so we got a nice impulse up. If you get a nice correction back to the 50 fib, say, and then a buy setup, you could look for three up, at least three up. And if if you're lucky, you get that that flat plays out and goes and breaks the top. Lastly, the DAX. This is still going right at the top here. There's nothing you can do here. I'd be leaving it alone. H4 we're starting to get bearish divergence, but there really isn't a sell set up on it, I don't think yet. Maybe something. Nah, that's not. Yeah, I'd be leaving this one alone. I'd be letting. Ideally, it goes and breaks the top again, then gives you a nice impulse down, nice correction, and then you could start to look for the sell. Until I got this, I mean, I wouldn't be buying this to go and break that top. There is no setup for me to do it. If anything, it's a bear hidden here. If I just remove all this, if anything, there's a bear hidden here. Until this top's broken, this still can come down and break that low. So you'll have to be careful with that if you're looking for the buy. But like I said, ideally it goes up, breaks the top, gives us nice impulse down, nice correction, and then we get a longer term sell, But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.